Alright, in the quick start we used recipes to drive crafting, but we didn't really look at what a recipe actually is or how you create one. So in this video we'll break that down. First thing to understand is that recipes in RevFramework are authored through wrappers depending on how you're using the system. If you're using the standalone crafting samples, you'll create a recipe using create RevFramework samples crafting standalone recipe. If you're using crafting alongside the RevFramework inventory system, a recipe wrapper is already provided for that integration. So in that case, you'll use the integration specific recipe asset instead. In both cases, the idea is the same. You're creating a recipe definition that the crafting system can resolve and execute. And if your project needs something different, you can also create your own wrapper, as long as it resolves into the core recipe model the service expects. So if we open a standalone recipe, you'll see it defines a few core things. First, inputs. These are the items required for a single craft. Then outputs, what the player receives when the craft completes. There's also an optional currency cost. If this is set, the crafting system will check and consume currency during the accept phase, just like it does with items. Next is craft time. If this is 0, the craft is instant. If it's greater than 0, the system creates a job and delivers the result over time. And then there's the station tag. This is optional, but it becomes important when you introduce workbenches. It allows a recipe to declare, this recipe is intended for a specific type of station. We'll use that properly in the next video when we look at workbench behaviour. So the important thing here is, the recipe doesn't do anything. It just describes the craft. The crafting service is what actually executes it. Under the hood, these wrappers resolve into the core recipe model used by the crafting system. But as a user, you don't work with that directly. You just author the wrapper, and the system handles the rest. When the system runs preflight, it reads the recipe and checks, do we have enough input items? Do we have enough currency? And do we have space for the outputs? From that, it calculates how many times that recipe can be crafted. And when we enqueue a craft, the system consumes inputs, consumes currency, creates a job if needed, and delivers the outputs, all based on the recipe data. So the key takeaway here is, recipes define the rules, the crafting system enforces them. Once you understand that, everything else in the system becomes easier to reason about. Modifiers adjust the recipe outcome. Validators block the recipe. Routing affects where outputs go. Workbenches control which recipes can be used. Everything builds on this. In the next video, we'll take this a step further and look at how recipes interact with workbenches, including station tag filtering and bench side gating. But for now, that's how recipes work in the crafting system.